Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Starport. This is Jason here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. And today's report is for July the 23rd through July the 29th, 2025. And as usual, we jump right into the sun. The sun has been quiet over the past couple of days. We did have that coronal hole turn 4, and the coronal hole stream over the past couple of days did have only minor geomagnetic storms. So you're probably feeling pretty calm and not over agitated. That's good. No sun spots or anything like that. It seems to be what's the word I'm looking for? To note, to pay attention to of worry. So if anybody sort of says, "Oh no, geomatic storms," they were minor and we're not going to die. Yeah, that's a good one. Today we move into Leo, and alchemically we know there's a correspondence in the physical form when we shift into the zodiacs. And so when we shift into Leo, we move into the heart. And so you're going to feel a lot of extra energy in the heart being in the season of Leo. And then, of course, Leo is also the nerves, which are motor actions, right? So you might be feeling like you need to get outside, like you need to do some exercise. And of course, Leo is the sign of action. So you want to be prepared that you're going to have this urge, or uh, if you don't, then you might be needing to work on some of the blocks that are keeping you from action and taking the lead in your own life. We are currently in retrogrades for 4 planets. Pluto, dealing with our old wounds. And that's just stuff that sort of made us who we are. It doesn't have to be anything traumatic per se. But looking at those old wounds is also about empowerment, right? When you name things or see things, or reveal things, all of a sudden you're empowered to use them or work against them. And then, of course, when Pluto's in a retrograde, we're integrating those things, right? So that we don't become identified with our old wounds, but we use those as fuel and or stepping stones to be what we've decided we are supposed to be doing here on the planet. Leads us into the next retrograde. Next retrograde is Neptune, which is really about awakening your your spiritual core. And when we're sort of doing that, it's really sort of opening up your worthiness, your divinity, what's your purpose. So all those kinds of things can happen when Neptune is in a retrograde. And then Saturn is also in retrograde. Saturn is going to be really about our accountability, um, and divine timing. And so, really, that accountability and divine timing, right? We take accountability for where we are, and then we sort of realize that it's all in divine timing, right? So, even if we aren't where we thought we should be, that divine timing is where we're understanding or working with the belief system that we are working in divine timing. And so if it hadn't happened yet, it doesn't mean it's not going to, and it's going to be even better, right? So sometimes we're working on the systems schedule, right? Or sources schedule rather than belief system schedule that may have been our own belief system or something that was given to us, right? Um, and a lot of times you'll sort of see those comparisons like this generation does this or this age group should be doing that or blah 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 blah, and you're like, well, I'm already past that, I can't do it. This is the kind of thing that Saturn really works on. And Saturn, really, when you start to come to that awareness, actually helps you develop new habits so that you can exceed faster, right? So this is all of a sudden like the universe provides the extra resources for you to catch up if you decide to act, right? And so since Leo's here, might as well, right? And also, of course, we are in the famous Mercury retrograde, and that always deals with travel and communication. Sometimes it makes it more difficult. Sometimes it makes it more I won't say intense, but more important when you're doing these travels and stuff like that. So pay attention to the Mercury retrograde. Where we should reach that. Where's the halfway point? We should reach the halfway point this week. Leads us into today, Wednesday, the 23rd of July. And as we move into Leo today, we are currently in 4 retrogrades. And like I was hinting at when I was talking about Leo, sometimes when the energy is, hey, let's do something, we start to find and delineate the reasons why we can't be doing something. And that really is you're trying to make it perfect rather than actually get it accomplished, right? And so I saw this great thing. It's not, maybe it's not that great. Anyway, it makes sense to this that uh, comparison between launching spaceships into space with SpaceX. They just kept putting up rockets and watching them blow up and fail and all that stuff. And now they can put them up regular rather than waiting 4 years like Boeing did to make the rocket perfect and then it didn't work. Yeah. So just pay attention to that kind of energy that's happening today where you're trying to talk yourself out about why you shouldn't act. But know that physically you're embodying it, cosmically action is oriented, and then what you sort of discovered about yourself and what's on the inside is really that you are the person to do the acting, not the one to do not the acting. So pay attention to that. Leads us into tomorrow, Thursday, the 24th. It'd be a 22 master day, and that's just how the calendar that we go by, which, right, it's not the right calendar, or it's not the right year, or we're in a simulation, all that kind of stuff. In general, the largest part of the community that we inhabit is going by the Gregorian calendar, and then the numerology of that is it makes this as 22 master day, right? So the energy of the space we're working in, whether we believe it's a construct or not, is on a master day sort of cycle. And so sort of take that energy to like master the moment of being able to act, right? So if you're having this inclination to act, then you are the master of that task that you are putting before yourself. So feel free to do that. Thursday's probably a good day to do that. Also, it's a new moon. And we know new moons are really about starting over, reboots, and then a lot of times just even a fire ceremony, right? Sort of that connection to the earth. There's been studies that the brain lightens up and you sort of have spiritual communication just with an eye tilt down towards a fire. So if you want to go outside and light a fire on a dark night on Thursday night, that would be a good time to do that. Blah 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 blah. And so, yeah, something to sort of keep in mind while you're acting like that is sort of act like that there isn't any history to hold you behind, hold you back, right? So, oh, here's all the things that happened in the past when I tried that, right? So I clean that slate. What would you like to do if you were the master of your own universe, and this sort of use that energy to do that? Sort of the question to be asking yourself is, what am I here to build, or what would I like to build next, or what am I going to build now? uh, the question that really sort of moves humanity forward is, what is my legacy, right? And so uh, there are studies that sort of say that we've given up on legacy, that the meaning factor of life has kind of gone down, and so that whole idea, like, what are you going to leave behind, is a good question to think about, because that can help you build things now. And then it can also help you build things that might not be accomplished, that might be started in your lifetime and not finished. So yeah, just think about that. Oh, that sounds like a fun Thursday. Leads us into Friday, July the 25th. Moon's going to be in opposition to Pluto, which is also in retrograde. And it's Pluto's going to be the closest to the Earth it's going to be all year. And so you want to think of the energy of that combination is really going to make a microscope on all of your hidden talents and abilities. So you're going to be able to see them. And when you sort of see, like, hey, this is me at my core and what I'd like to be doing, and you're going to see that you had to look past a whole bunch of shit that you shouldn't be doing, or maybe stuff that you thought you're supposed to be doing that isn't in alignment with that, then Friday's going to be a really good day. Hey, good for the weekend. Just drop all the shit that isn't in alignment with what you sort of discover with this Pluto moon opposition. Um, be a pretty fantastic Friday. Leads us into Saturday, July the 26th. The moon is going to be continue to be active. I think I should be showing some light by then. And so the moon is going to be aligning with Venus. And Saturday is really going to be like a day to sort of slow down and sort of self-love, self-care, all the fun buzzwords about, focusing on the self. And then really sort of a good phrase to sort of be pondering while you're slowing down is peace comes from accepting the self, not from fixing the self. Right. And so that's why sometimes when you're trying to maximize everything, or optimize everything, or human design everything, right, and get all the little bits right, that might not be the best mode of thing, because you're trying to look at what's broken or all that fun stuff. But what you're really trying to do is accept what you really are. And then sometimes, those things are bad. Those things can help you discover what you are, but it might turn into an endless thing of what can I look at or fix next, rather than how can I accept myself as I am and act on what I want to be doing, rather than try to fix myself to make me better at doing what I think I should be doing sometime in the future. Yeah. That sounds like a Saturday. Moves into Sunday, the 27th of July. The moon in Pluto might be having you sort of move towards the dark side. And this is just sort of the contemplation of, I won't call it nihilism, but it's like, what if none of this is true? Or what if all, that's weird. What if all the bad things that could happen, we start to ponder like, oh, if this happens and that happens and the apocalypse is soon, or the sun blows up, all the things, right? So Sunday is a cautionary tale, right? What you're sort of looking at is the dark alternative is if you do nothing. And so just don't go too far down the rabbit hole of, oh my god, darkness. It's built in the cards, right? And so it's sort of like, hey, and sometimes you want to think of like that dark alternative stuff. They make sci-fi movies about it now, about time travel. Like, what if the Nazis won, right? All those kinds of things, right? You might get down those dark rabbit holes on Sunday. Monday, July 28th, will be the peak of the Delta Aquarids meteor shower. And so meteor showers are always going to be aha moments, going to be extreme, vivid dream times, right? So not just like long duration dreams, but a whole bunch of different sort of episodic dreams is sort of typical of that. So watch out for that Monday night. And of course, they're peaking then, right? So you might have those sort of instances before that day, but that would be the day that would be the most noticeable, that you're having a whole lot of information coming from the cosmos into your reality, right? And if you want to sort of think that, we're in a bubble, if you're into bubble Earth, if you're into ball Earth, when things sort of hit our magnetic atmosphere, and that's what the meters are, right? They're clipping it and lighting up on fire. Those are new ideas coming into the field. And so a lot of times, especially during sleep, those will come through aha moments, dreams, and stuff like that. So we have information that comes to us while we're wide open and walking in those different magnetic fields. Yeah, which leads us to the final day of our report, July the 29th. It's going to be the halfway point through Mercury retrograde. So we'll be moving into the second half of Mercury retrograde. And it's a good day to sort of examine the communication shifts. How have you been communicating with people? And this isn't just like how you're talking, but this is like who you're talking to, what you're talking about, kind of things is what you want to think about when it's about examine your communication shifts. That has sort of popped up over the last week or so, 11 days. And then really sort of act on those revelations like, oh, okay, here's what I've been talking about, or what's sort of come up for me to examine. And it really sort of is helping me to adjust to like, who do I want around to talk to? And then what kind of subject matters are we going to cover, so that they can be more fulfilling, that they can have more import, that they're not the typical standoffish kind of communications, like I'm talking to just talk, or I'm talking to just sort of stay in communication, but really sort of that communication has a purpose, where the energetics of thoughts going back and forth, which is just magnetics and light, yada yada yada, waveforms, where those things, when they bounce off each other, can shift and grow and start to resonate. So how can you use your communication and who you're communicating with to sort of have a greater resonation, that idea, that contemplation, that access to those ideas in the ether are uh, accessed more, right? So that they're amplified. If you want to think of it, how have you hacked your own algorithm so that it keeps popping up, right? And so what's been popping up, and then what would you like to keep in that algorithm? And then who would you like to keep around to sort of enrich that algorithm? And anybody who's on social media knows what I'm talking about when you're like, I just looked at that thing once, and now every platform, your email, your Googling, your socials, everything will start to pop with that idea or that object you shopped for. And so this is the same kind of thing, right? How are we going to program our own matrix, our own algorithm, to have that communication about the things that matter, and then resonate those so that taps into the psychic algorithm of either. Yeah, sounds like a fun Tuesday. That's everything for the week. I should be here all week. I'm thinking of maybe taking a day on Saturday this week, which, what is the day on Saturday? The 26th. So if you happen to pop by the shop and I decided that was the day that I wasn't going to come to the shop, I apologize that you made the drive, but I will see you on the flip side. Yeah, so today definitely through Friday, 11 to 5 a.m. Of course, you can go online and book a session if you are needing some adjustment. I'm still pretty sound at doing that. Pretty talented energy healer. is this guy? Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next week, and until that time, many blessings. Oh no, the button went away. It always goes away at the end because I